Welcome to One Moment Wiser Special Edition. This is Christy Bridges, and it is almost the exact day. I think it was this week actually, when 5 years ago, my course, my trajectory totally changed. And that happened because my guest today stood in my driveway until after midnight talking to me and talking to my heart. So I'm going to start with a story you may have heard me tell a little bit of before. So 5 years ago, I was, I had been in band after band. My favorite band had broken up. My dream band had broken up because life happens. I had buried my uncle, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa. I mean, just within a few years, everybody that I was close to in Tulsa and the people who represented so much of my childhood memories had passed away. And bandless and, you know, less these people who knew me in all my childhood summers, I felt a loss of identity. I really just, it was like, I don't know if you've ever felt like you've been forgotten somehow, because the people who remember you aren't there, because the people who know, what you're capable of and who you are aren't there. But that's how I felt. And I rode my bike a lot that year. And that year, God gave me a job that I loved. I began teaching in January of 2015, teaching classes. It's my first classroom experience, even though I'd been a trainer for many jobs. And I realized that I love that job. My dreams of writing, I always wanted to write a book. My dreams of writing, I decided to go ahead and maybe start my first book. And so I'm working at a job I really like, and I'm writing my first book. And if you've ever written a book, then you know that there are times that you feel like nobody's ever going to want this anyway. Why do I even try? And it's just that feeling, right? It's a very alone experience. And I had been for years working with musicians who continuously reinforced my self-esteem because they had ideas, I had ideas, and we loved each other's stuff. And here I am working alone, trying to get through Wisdom Better Than Wishing. I had written a couple of other books, but they were for people. So there was a reason that I knew that they would be happy. And this was for an invisible audience. And by the end of the year, I had decided maybe since I liked my job, I should do something that would make my job like me more. And right. And so I applied for college to become an instructional designer. I told myself, well, I should finish my degree so I'm marketable and this looks like fun. I'm enjoying it already, helping to do it already. But, everybody says you have to have a degree. And when I hit the submit button on my college application, my little heart just broke. And the writer inside of me, it was just bawling, saying, why are you giving up on me? And the logical side of me is like, well, this is, who we are now. This is what we're doing. It's good for us. But that didn't actually work. And 2 weeks before college was to begin, this beautiful lady showed up at my door. This is Kim White, everybody. I've talked about her so much, and you may have met her a couple of years ago, but I have to just celebrate that Kim and I are still working together, and my entire existence is different because of Kim. Kim, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for showing up for you. I'm so proud of all that you have done.
Ah, you have made a difference in my life, let me tell you. So, 2 years before I did that fateful college application, I had actually told someone at a conference, Extraordinary Women's Conference, a couple of years from now, I'm going to be where you are. I'm going to be doing this. I hadn't had a clue how to do that. I knew when God gave me the job teaching that He was refining my speaking skills. Boy, was He refining them. And I knew, when my friend Jennifer said, hey, let's go to Toastmasters, that, okay, I was going to meet some people and maybe get some opportunities. But I saw you perform one of your early speeches, and you were just so what I mean, you at that time you were still learning how to do speeches. It was very beginning. You were learning how to speak. You had been a businesswoman for decades, but you were just as nervous as everybody else. But your story was
Absolutely.
powerful. And I was like, afterwards, I said, your story made me cry, and I just want to know you, And so I saw you a couple more times before you showed up on my door. What made you show up at my doorstep?
You said the things that pricked my heart, that I knew some answers that I realized you didn't know. I think that's the thing, is we don't know what we don't know.
Yep.
And those that have gone before us kind of have obligation to at least give information. I wasn't trying to talk you into doing one thing or another, but I did want you to know what your options were, and not have to go down the path that you thought was the only path.
Yeah.
That was really important to me, to just be able to open your eyes to the possibilities. Um, I think we all need people in our lives who open our eyes to possibilities.
It's true. And I didn't know that it was even possible to create my own conference. You had seen my friend Jennifer and I work together on Facebook Live and on SoundCloud. And you said, I think you and Jennifer have something, and you need to do your own conference. And I'll do it with you so I can walk you through all the steps. And I was like, no stinking way. People do that?
Well, you and Jen were magic together. You all play off each other, and you're very different, but yet you are very alike, very aligned. And watching you all and knowing that you could impact a lot of lives, that is what makes me show up. The helping people actually serve bigger is my heart. Like, that's what I want. I want to be able to enable and empower other people to do that. And you two were amazing candidates, because I watched you on your podcast and on SoundCloud, and I watched you on Facebook Lives, and the things that you were talking about were amazing. And the spark between the two of you was amazing. So to me, that was simple math. This is what you need to do. I had no idea that that was something you had wanted to do when we first started talking. But I knew by our conversation before that night that you didn't know the possibilities.
Yeah.
And I was consumed. I spent several days before I actually called and showed up, struggling with, we need to mind our own business. Like, that's one of the things, you don't want to go and put your nosy self into other people's business. It's not good for you or them. But for you, you had invited me in
Yeah.
by conversations. You had invited me in by you wanted to know things. And so there's a difference between butting in and just serving possibilities. And I felt like I couldn't wait one more day before I, met up with you. I didn't even just call. That's the other thing. I had to look at you in the face. I had to talk to you in person because it was big to me. What you wanted to do wasn't big to me, but that decision for you was big to me. I wanted you to know what you could do.
Yeah. And you always encourage me to do what, you know, I don't know very many people encourage people to do, but I want to encourage our listeners as well. You always encourage me, pray before you answer. Pray before you answer. And I did. I mean, I do that. Sometimes I'm so excited around you that I sometimes want to go, yes. But with that kind of a decision, yes, absolutely. I took the next day off work. I had a meeting in the morning, and then afterwards I took the day off and prayed about it because I didn't want to just do something because my little dreamer inside was going, yes, 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 yes. I wanted to do it because it was the wise thing. And God knows where we're headed. He knows what's ahead of us. He knows what He's prepared us for. He knows what He wants to equip us for. He knows what He wants us to accomplish. And so, we can say, oh, little heart, what do you want to do? Or we can say, Lord, what's ahead? What would you like me to choose? And so I did that. And I am so grateful that you did come face to face and that you did breathe on that dream because since then, I've had Wisdom Better Than Wishing, I've had Option Ocean, I've had the podcast and speaking engagements, and I mean, just so many things. The conference, which started it all, um, and I've been able to help other people uh, because as you said it earlier, you like to breathe on those possibilities. Take the people who want to serve and help them. You kind of inspired me in ways that I didn't expect. I expected to write a book, and maybe do a conference, and you inspired me to recognize that I really do enjoy teaching.
Mhm.
And now I'm teaching others how to write their own books so that they can
Yes.
share their faith and um, their stories that really change lives. And it's because of you.
Mhm. Well, I appreciate you saying that, but I will say it's not because of me. It's because
Well,
of you showing up. Because yes, and God directed that.
mhm.
We met when I was struggling to learn, and I just laughed because I did not choose. This is nothing I wanted to choose to do, to be in front of the camera. I love the behind the scenes and helping everyone else. So I was struggling when you're talking about I was learning. You are not kidding about the fact that I was having to learn to get over myself
Mhm.
in order to show up like I was supposed to, which in turn gave you permission to show up also. And I think that's what you have in turn done. So I think it's always a ripple thing. I think it goes from, one person to another. It's contagious. If
Yeah.
you are authentic, which you are, and if you are, living your dreams instead of, doing what everybody else, what they tell you to do, you know, then I think that's sexy. That's just the bottom line. I think that's a sexy life is when you are showing up for other people and then they start showing up for other people and then they start showing up for other people and go on and on and on.
It is true. And you just said something very profound there. Um, you uh, talked about a sexy life, right?
Mm,
Your business is actually my sexy business. And you have, by the way, I think that people can tell you've come a long way in your ability to speak. And I've learned that your decades of or business experience, entrepreneurial experience has helped so many people. But tell us about My Sexy Business, just in case anybody is going, sexy? What? I didn't sign up for that. Um, Tell us about that.
Well, for me, sexy, especially when you're talking about a business,
Mhm.
is the old iconic, old school way of doing business. You know, it's the relationships, it's the long term business that people didn't do business for a couple of weeks. They would be lifetime relationships, you know, and to me that is what a sexy business does, is they show up authentically. They keep their word. They do, you know, all the things that makes a good business and why people want to chase them with money instead of you having to find customers constantly because you've done them wrong, which
Right.
seems to be a really big trend in this, you know, the
Oh, yeah.
recent years. But being sexy is really about doing great business and having fun doing it, not being, you know, drudgery.
Not
That's
being
another,
tied to a ball and chain, but actually enjoying
yes.
your business and having the kind of ethics that make people chase after you, that make,
Mhm.
attract people to it. Yes.
Yes. So it's a business in a simple term, it's a business you own that does not own you, and people chase you because it is such a attractive business because they benefit. If you're not serving your clients or your customers, you know, that's not good business. So a
No.
sexy business is you serve a lot. So I think it's I think it's really funny to see people's reaction when I first talk about, you know, a sexy business or a sexy life, because immediately their mind goes to other places. But the truth is we need to create sexy businesses so that we can in turn have sexy lives that give us the freedom to do the things that we really want. We spend a lifetime sometimes before we realize this is not even what we wanted.
Yeah.
So,
And
and
with, oh, go ahead. No.
well, and in full, you know, full transparency, if I had not created an ugly business, I would not understand the depth that I do now of what a sexy business looks like, because I have created businesses where they consumed me and I had no life. And that's not good business either.
Mm-mm. No. And so now you teach other people to build businesses that are sustainable, that are enjoyable. And with me, you've put me to work in some interesting places, and you've taught me that I don't have to go get a degree. Even I encourage people, if you want to go to college, but I don't have to get a degree to do what God has gifted me to do if I will take the opportunities that He's given me. In my job, I've actually become the person that I had hoped the degree would get me to be. And in my personal life, I've had all that free time that I wasn't doing school to to learn what I needed to learn in our entrepreneurial group, the My Sexy Business Club, in the conferences you've done, in the collaborations that I've done. Oh my gosh, you bring some of the coolest people. So, because of that, I've actually met some of the neatest people who ended up in Option Ocean
Mhm.
and learned a collaborative approach that is similar to being in a band. When you have an idea, you have this song, well, now it's a book, and you want those people to add those extra instruments, and everybody comes together and it's beautiful. It is so fun. I'm so glad for you. This year, you're back, right? So the beauty of My Sexy Business is you learned not to have a business that owns you and that keeps you from having a life, to the extent that for the last year, you've actually been able to take time off to do important family things. You've been able to take time off to take care of people that needed you.
Mhm.
And you still, I mean, your business keeps going because the people you've influenced continue to blossom. And I'm so excited that you're back. I'm so excited for the class that starts or the group that starts in January. So
Yeah.
we are doing, what are we doing in January? I'm going to let you tell that. I'm still
Well,
kind of like, I'm excited, but I'm just peeking through the glass trying to figure out.
um, I think that the thing we need to preface that with is we are doing so many different things, but they are things that I have done for a lot of years. So it's not a new thing as far as what I'm teaching. It's a new way that I'm teaching it. I do want to point that out because it's still the same amazing stuff we've been getting results with for a long time. It's just packaged in a new way. Everything's been updated, and I'm just so excited. Um, we are doing uh, an, a mastermind group, which is my favorite. I'll just tell you, because it's a year, and so when we get in the trenches with you in a mastermind group, there is so much happening in collaborations, and it propels your business forward when you get in the right kind of a collaboration. And this is what I would like to call the grown-up version of a collaboration. It's the art of collaboration, because there are smaller kinds of collaborations, but this one is the sexiest of all. It is, the accountability, the feedback, the meeting together, the community building, within the group and as a group, bringing in people that you might not get a chance to meet otherwise, finding out the things that are possible, just like you said about that night. This whole year is about co-creating things that you didn't even know were possible. So that's the big thing with the mastermind. We also have other classes. We have a collaboration class that we'll be doing, and sticky note time class. But those are the major three. I stick to what I know and what gets like amazing results. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In my
You
Oklahoma hick.
You mentioned sticky note time, and I'll never forget the first coaching session with you when you brought poster board and sticky notes, and I thought, "Wow, this is high tech." But it works. It works so well that we do it again and again. You are
Well,
definitely the queen of, what resources do you have? You're the same one who sold eggs to buy yourself a truck and escape the life you needed to leave. So you like, okay, what resources does a person usually have? You can get
yeah.
this. Yes. And I I didn't want to interrupt completely, but shoot, the thought that I had just left. So go ahead.
Well, and I do want to say what you just said. I have been accused of being um, a kindergarten princess, and I think it's very fitting because if it's complicated, people won't buy it, and if it's complicated, you don't even buy it. Like you don't buy
100%.
into it's not sustainable. And
Yeah.
so getting simple is part of the brilliance. I'm just going to tell you that's part of the plan, that if you will get simple, and sometimes that means getting as simple as poster boards and sticky notes,
Yes.
you know, to start with, you have to learn a process. Once you learn the process, I don't care what technology you use. I don't care I'm not all about not doing technology. Obviously, we're here, and we're using technology to be here. But there is something very, um, well, it just creates lightning speed whenever you get clear about what you really want.
It
And
does.
a lot of times we don't slow down to find out what that is. And so we like kind of do a pinball machine. We bounce over here and we bounce over there, and then life hits us with one of the little flipper things, and it throws us around. And we don't have to live that way.
No.
But we don't know that until we learn it. Like, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah. It's so true. And I'm constantly discovering possibilities with you. Thank you so much. So if anybody wants to find out about the mastermind or about all the other courses that you have, um, it's My Sexy Business. And you can find Kim on Facebook at the My Sexy Business team page, right?
Hmm.
And I'm at online, mysexybusiness.com.
Hmm.
And just check her out. And I love the videos that you've been doing lately because they're just so real life. Watching the princess travel around the country living in an RV with her
That's right.
husband is just adorable. So thank you so much. Oh,
We're
Kim,
doing what we love.
yes, exactly. You've created a life that is portable and sustainable.
Mhm. Definitely. Well, and I want to brag on you for a minute, because I want to point out that night in the driveway, you didn't stay there. You could have stayed in that place of confusion,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
and you did not. It took guts, it took courage, because it was scary doing something you had never even thought you could do. To suddenly stand up and go, okay, I'm in. I don't know what, I'm going to do it afraid, but I'm in. And so I want to say I'm proud. I'm super proud of you, because you showed up, you've done the work, you've created a life that you love, and you didn't get a lot of debt whenever you could have had like lots of student loans. So, I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
I could have $40,000 in student loans, but instead I'm making $20,000 more a year than I did. And I've done all the things that I really wanted to do and things that I never thought of doing until you said, well, you know how to teach and you know how to write. Why don't you create courses to help other people understand the process? You know how to give, you know how to teach, you know how to write. Why don't you create a workshop course to help people give workshops? So little things like that just probably wouldn't have occurred to me have brought me such joy, so much more joy than doing homework on somebody else's project, you know?
exactly. It won't get you anywhere. That's the other thing, is you got down that road. You were actually paid to learn what you were going to go to school to learn and pay them. So that is just part of what I want to point out, that I'm proud of you, is that you took that chance to do that. And now look at you. Like, I'm so proud.
Thank you. So, recently, you launched 2 things before the end of the year. You actually well, I just didn't launch. You had your annual Hope to Hope conference, which is my favorite conference in the universe. It's not currently I don't know if it's yet available here, but I know that you can access the Hope to Hope conference on the My Sexy Business website. And I definitely encourage you because there are more people than just me. You guys know me. You've seen what I've gone through. But there are so many cool people and telling their stories about where they were in that point of confusion, that point of, oh my gosh, I have to do something, and what they've done since then. And some of them, had great loss in their lives, and God has restored things, and others had to choose a completely new direction. And the Hope to Hope conference is just absolutely beautiful. And go to the My Sexy Business
Thank
website to
you.
see that. But you also launched a magazine, which can be found on the website as well. And I love the magazine. It's so you just want to sit there and read, and basically just meet all these new friends, all these new people. Um, it is really, boy, when you told me you wanted to do a magazine, I just didn't expect it to be so, I don't know, a little bit glamorous, a little bit neighborly, it's just perfect.
I do think it's a combo of it. It's a hybrid because, we are allowing real to come in and not the glamorous. I mean, who is a size 16 and is on the cover of a magazine in reality? Like, that's one of the things that is really important is to keep it down home. But you
Mhm.
know what? We clean up well too. So why
Mhm.
not? Why not have those things? Why not tell our stories and why not share and help other people that are like us? Because most people are not, airbrushed all
No,
the day long. So when you meet them, you don't even realize that's who they are. I show up on messy Mondays with no makeup and a
yeah.
hat on most of the time. And it came from doing events all weekend and being made up all weekend.
Mhm.
I didn't want to put on makeup on Monday. And
You just
so,
want to be yourself.
so why not? Like I'm glad I have on makeup today, but you know what? Monday I will not have.
Good for you. Well, and I like that the magazine isn't just, it's for people who want to be inspired. So there's a lot of good stories about where people were and how they, became who they are now. But there's also a little romance in there. There's a little like non-business, hey, let me tell you about, love and life. I like that. That's kind of fun.
Well, and I wanted, like, you say that and it makes me giggle, but I want to say too that the one major difference for our magazine is the people that are in there are actually, you can connect with them.
Yeah.
And not just because you read about them, but we actually give you their information where you can actually email them or message them. And these are people that are serving huge. They love people. That I think that's one of the qualifiers. If you are not our flavor, which are people who serve, then you won't find them in our magazine because we are not going to do that. That's what the purpose is to highlight and feature things to inspire and motivate other people that are like us.
Yeah. And inspire and motivate are, I think, the two biggest words I'd use to describe why we're doing this today and why you do what you do.
Yes.
I love to share my story, and I want to share my story with the people that I know, have been with me all along. So that's why I'm telling everybody about our driveway scene, and introducing them to someone so special in my life. But it's not just about telling my story. I There is a new year coming. 2020 is different than any year before it. And in our new year, 2020 has forced people to learn um, different resources, learn to do things virtually,
Mhm.
learn to connect with people even when you're not face to face. 2020 has made people learn how to work within a different kind of budget because their jobs or businesses have suffered. And 2020 has brought a kind of a fast track of some digital resources that were just ideas before. So 2021 can be very, very different in a good way because 2020 has given you ideas and resources, even if that resource is extra time because you don't have a job. Um, you've gotten that in 2020. Use it wisely. And in 2021, let's see what we can do together. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear what you're thinking of. I want to hear about your challenges
Yes.
because you don't know what you don't know. And other people might be able to go, oh, have you thought of this? So in the comments, um, put your ideas, your challenges. Let's group think and kind of work together to help each other have a different kind of 2021 in a good way.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Kim. I just love you so
Thank
much.
I love you and thank you.
Well, God bless you all. It is almost the new year, so start sharing some of those ideas and let's collaborate together. I'm Christy Bridges with One Moment Wiser. I teach Christians to become authors so that God can reach more people with our unique voices. Goodbye.